All right, we're dividing. Now, we could do this long division, but I think it's just easier if you learn synthetic division to do this, because if you're taking college algebra or business math, then you're going to either factor it, which we haven't learned how to factor yet, and then simplify, or you're going to use synthetic division. So let's just do synthetic division, and that is synthetic division. The first thing we do when we see that we have this is this right here. We've got to change that. Basically, you're solving it. So you want to divide by a -6. So we're going to divide by a -6. I'm going to put that right there. So make sure you solve that denominator. Now, notice up here, you want to look for missing terms. If we have anything missing, we're going to have to put a 0 in for that term. But there isn't. This is 2, 1, 0. So the exponents are good. Now, we're just going to put the coefficients in. That's a 1, that's a -2, and that's a -48. So notice, it's just the coefficients. Make sure it's in order, 2, 1, 0, all right, for our exponents. So we just put the coefficients. Now, draw an arrow and bring this down and draw your line there, because you're going to be putting numbers underneath. This arrow down means bring the 1 down. So we're going to multiply this 1 times the -6, and that will give us -6. We put right here. Then we're going to combine this column. -2 minus 6 is -8. Signs are alike, you add. And then we're going to multiply times the -6. So we all go back, okay? Bring it down, then go back and multiply. So -8 times -6 gives us a +48. And this gives us 0, and that's good. When it's a 0, that means no remainder. And I'll show you what to do when there is a remainder. So our answer is right here. Now, when you write this, we started out with x squared. This takes it down 1, so this is not x squared, this is x. And then constant term is -8. So our answer is x minus 8, and we don't have a remainder. So again, let's do right here. We bring this number down, and then multiply this number times that, -6. That goes right there. Then add this column, and that becomes -8, and then multiply it times up here. That's where we get the +48. Add this column, and that's 0, and that's good, no remainder. Again, we're going to use synthetic division. So this x plus 5, we're going to solve and make it x equals -5. So we're going to be dividing by -5. We want to make sure this is in order. We have an exponent of 2, 1, and then 0, because x to the 0 power is 1, and 1 times 14 is 14. So it's in order. There's no missing terms. So we're going to write the coefficients of 1, 7, and 14. I'm going to put an arrow here and draw a line. I always do that. Now, the directions say be sure to enter your answer in quotient plus remainder divisor form. So this may be one where we have a remainder, and I'll show you what to do. So we bring the 1 down. Then we multiply this 1 right here times this -5 gives us -5. Then we add this column. 7 minus 5 is 2. So now we multiply this 2 times this -5 up here. That gives us -10. So now we add this column. 14 minus 10 is 4. So this is our remainder. Now we started off with x squared, so that means this is x. This was a plus. There's no sign. If it had been a negative, I'd put that. Didn't put a sign, so it's plus 2. And then our remainder, we're going to write plus the remainder of 4 over what we divide by the binomial, not the -5, but the x plus 5. So that is our answer. A couple of things here to make sure. when you're doing this, you're bringing this number down, you're multiplying. When you have a remainder here, you're going to put that number in the numerator, and you're going to put it over this original binomial. Not where you solved and got a -5, but the original binomial. That goes there. And you're going to have a plus right here between those. All right, so now we actually have a synthetic division one. So remember this x plus 1, you want to solve for x because you're going to be using a -1. So a -1 goes right here. We always bring this number down, so there's a 1. Then we're going to multiply this 1 times this -1, gives us -1. And we're going to combine that column. 7 minus 1 is 6. Now we multiply 6 times -1, which gives us -6. Bring this column down. 9 minus 6 is 3. 3 times this -1 gives us -3 here. 11 minus 3 is 8. This is our remainder. If it's 0, we don't have a remainder. So in the problem, we started out with x cubed. So that means this is going to be the x squared term, this is the x term, and this is the constant term. So we're going to have 1x squared plus 6x plus 3. If they don't tell you to write it as a fraction, and they just have it like this with the remainder is, then all you have to do is put the 8 in the block. We are doing synthetic division again. We are dividing by x minus 1, so again we want to solve for x, and we're going to be using 1. So 1 is what we will be dividing by here. We want to make sure that the other part is in order, so exponent of 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. So it's in order, no missing terms. If, for example, there wasn't a term there, the -2x squared was gone, we would have to put a holder there and have 0x squared. Or if the 10x was gone, we'd have to put 0x, but we don't have that issue. So now all we have to do is put the coefficients. 1, -4, make sure to include the signs, -2, +10, -13. Bring an arrow down and draw a line. So we bring that 1 down. 1 times 1 is 1. -4 plus 1 is -3. So -3 times 1 is -3. Signs are alike. We add, we get a -5. -5 times 1 is -5. Signs are different. We subtract, get a +5. 5 times 1 is 5. -13 plus 5 is going to give us a -8. And that is our remainder. Now we started out with x to the 4th, so this is going to be x cubed minus 3x squared minus 5x plus 5. And then our remainder will be -8. Now they have the separate box. So make sure when you write the box, write the remainder, you just put the -8 here, and you put the x cubed minus 3x squared minus 5x plus 5 in the quotient box, and just the remainder by itself in the remainder box. Synthetic division, we're going to divide by x minus 1, so that means we're going to solve this for x, and we're going to be using not -1 but +1. We want to make sure there's no terms missing. Exponent to the 5th, 4th, 3rd, 2nd, 1, 0. So that's good. Nothing's missing, and it's in order. We're going to write the coefficients. 1, -1. Make sure you include the signs. Then we have 9, +9, -9, +1, and -6. So we're going to bring down our 1 with an arrow and draw a line. There's our 1, and now we start multiplying. 1 times 1 is 1, and then -1 plus 1 is 0. 0 times 1 is 0, so we're going to add this column. 9 plus 0 is 9. 9 times 1 is 9, so we're going to add this column. Negative 9 plus 9 is 0. 0 times 1 is 0. Add this column. 1 plus 0 is 1. 1 times 1 is 1. And negative 6 plus 1 is negative 5, which is our remainder. Now we started with x to the 5th, so we're going to have, this would be an x to the 4th, x cubed, x squared, x, and then our constant term. So 1x to the 4th, or just x to the 4th. There is not a 0x cubed. That's no such thing. That's just not there, so we won't write it. Then a 9x squared, that's a positive 9x squared. Make sure to include our signs in between our terms. The 0x is gone. And then our final constant term is plus 1. That will go in the quotient box. And then in the remainder box, we will put the negative 5. And just the negative 5 for the remainder.